Hey, short story for you guys about unfortunate timing. When I was a kid, and I was watching TV in the room with my mom, and we were watching a show. Standard practice back then, because shows had a lot of commercials, is like you'd be watching a show and you hit the commercial break, you would just change channels and find another show to watch until the commercial break ended and then go back. However, you would often forget to go back. So you'd be watching show number 2 until it hit a commercial break, then go back to show number 1. Now, we're watching a show, hits a commercial break, my mom starts changing the channels. I'm a wee lad at this point. All right, guys, I'm a youngin'. And she changes channels. She hits Chucky. And goes, oh, this looks like a kid's show. And moments later, Chucky viciously, violently murders somebody. And I start screaming. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And she changes back to the other show. And I'm like freaking out. And she consoles me. And I calm down. And I get over it. She's like, I didn't know that was a spooky movie. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, it's okay. And then we get to the next commercial break. She changes the channel. She lands on Chucky right as he pins down this black guy and like rips his tongue out and stabs him in the chest or something like that. And I start screaming again. And my mom starts screaming. She's changed the channel. I'm sorry. Oh God, I'm sorry. Chat, I kid you not, over the course of like 2 hours, she did this 3 times. I had nightmares for weeks. That is the only movie in my lifetime that has given me nightmares. Is she hit me with Chucky murders like 3 times. Unfortunate timing. It wasn't like we landed there, we saw the doll walking around, you're like, oh shoot, this is Chucky, change again. No, we landed on it right at the worst parts. Here's the hook. Here's the hook. In front of my wife, a woman looked at me and said, oh God, I wish I wasn't 17. There's the completely out of context hook. That's the out of context hook. That's to keep you here for the next 5 minutes. All right? So, this morning, my wife asked me, she's like, hey, would you like to go to Waffle House? Now, if you don't know what that is it's like a breakfast diner. I have not eaten out in a restaurant since the pandemic started, guys. In over a year. I've gotten drive-through, I've gotten delivery. I've not eaten in a restaurant since the pandemic started. I was a little nervous, you know? A lot of people just, they're unaffected. I was nervous. And I was like, I thought about it for a while, and I was like, you know what? You know, we've done everything we can to be safe. Yeah, let's do it. So we go to Waffle House, and we get our breakfast. Now, we're wearing masks when we go in there, and I would say about half the people there had masks on. But, you know, and I'm talking about the ones not eating. Obviously, you take your mask off when you eat. So, like, half the people there had masks on. And so they've got booths, and they've got this area that it kind of resembles a bar. And it's not a bar, but it's like you're basically, there's like a long counter with like seat, and you're all just like facing into the kitchen, and they literally just reach over, you know, from the kitchen to put your food down and you know, wait your table. They don't even have to come out of the kitchen area to wait your table. So there was a line of people waiting on booths, and we're like, well, let's just sit at the little bar thing. So we go up there and we're sitting there. So we're facing right into the kitchen. Order food, they bring the food, and lady comes up, and at this point, you know, we saw the mask on the whole time. So we got me and Gabe and my wife, and we take our masks off, and I pop the first one in my mouth, and from like right in front of me, like 2 feet in front of me, is this waitress who is apparently 17, and she's like, oh! And I'm like mouthful of waffle. I don't know like what her deal is, and I'm like, you know, what's going on? And she's like, look at them. They look just alike, you know, and she was like freaking out over me and my kid. And I'm just like, and I just kind of like chuckle, and I go back down to my food. I thought that was going to be the end of it. And she's like, you know, like, yeah, Amanda. And she's like calling over some other lady, and she comes over. She's like, they look just alike, look at that. And she turns to my wife, and she's like, you literally went copy paste. And I'm like, And I'm like smiling and chewing food, and my wife is like dying laughing, like, you know, like she doesn't have enough oxygen, so like she's wheezing a bit, and she's like, oh my god, and like, oh, even the thing on the front of his, and I think she meant that like we both have like our hair stuck. Now I do this manually. Gabe has a cowlick on the front of his head, but she's like, even the thing on the front of his head, oh, and she's like point. Like honestly, it was so rude, but it was hilarious, and. She's like, oh my god, oh, I want a kid. She's like, I want a little kid like that. She's like, oh man. And like the other waitress, Amanda, I guess, she's like, honey, I'm married and you're 17. You need to calm down. And she just walks away. She's like, you know, order scrambled eggs, table 5. She just went back to business, chat. Amanda was a veteran. She had seen it all. She didn't need any of this crap in her life. But this young lady, she's like, oh my god, I wish I wasn't 17. And she looks at me, she's like, I wish I wasn't 17. And so I was just like, did one look at me and my boy get this lady's like biological ticker jump started? Like what in the crap? Like I just came here for waffles. I came here for waffles. And I just ruined this woman's life. My wife was like, she wasn't able to eat for a while. She was in tears. She was laughing so hard. Yeah, it's just, oh my god. Like, she's like, yeah, I need a man. Where's a man? Someone. Yeah, do you need a drink? You're thirsty. Order a water in the kitchen. Table that one. So, like, that was our breakfast. That must have been some good stuff on that kitchen. So I don't know. Chat. I have a story. So today, we were eating leftovers from last night for lunch. And it was time for dinner. And I was like, all right, mom made us a huge meal last night. And we had the leftovers for lunch. She is not gonna wanna cook again tonight. And like the many nights before that, we had like, you know, simple meals that I can cook, which basically means frozen meals. And I was like, what do you say we order in? And my son's like, let me think about it. And I was like, dude, the ordering food and getting it here takes time because we got to wait on the delivery. If you want it, I need to know now. If you want something we have here, the, you know, simple sandwiches or something, that's fine. We can wait another hour. But if we're ordering, we got to do it now. And he's like, I'm on it. And I'm like, what? And he runs over to the computer. And I'm like, what do you mean you're on it? Are you about to order? And he opens up Google. Hold on a sec. He does this, guys. He opens up Google and he's like, and I'm like, stop, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm looking for restaurants. And I'm like, are you searching for North America delivery? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, dude, this isn't Guild Wars 2. You don't just shove NA in front of it to find something local. That's the continent. That's the whole continent. And he's like, oh. And he's like, well, I was like, I'm asking if you want pizza, dude. Okay, I'm asking, do you want a pizza? And he's like, I was feeling like burgers tonight. I'm like, I'm not offering burgers. I'm asking if you want a pizza, yes or no. And he's like, yeah, I'll take a pizza. And I'm like, thank you. Like, what do you mean NA burgers? North American burgers. Would someone on this continent please bring me a burger? I was like, what are you doing? So, Noxxi, when she edits my videos, she uses a bunch of different programs. One is called Adobe After Effects, which apparently it freezes all the time. Like, apparently it's a great program with like broken legs.
Can't you just be f***ing normal?
Like, I don't know. Like, the thing just crashes constantly. I don't. But the thing is, like, it's the best program for the job. So it's what she uses. And occasionally it locks up.
Unbelievable.
Now, Noxxi apparently, she had it like rendering something or something, and she went to another room in the house. And she comes back later, and the thing had frozen, and it was stuck in a loop. And The program was it was rendering a part of a video where I died in PvP, and I went, ah, nuts. But it was frozen, and it was looping like a stuck record. So she walks into her room, and her headphones are going, nuts, 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 nuts. It's just dropping the beat. Just like, oh my god. It was just dropping the beat. So yeah, DJ Muck was in the house, and it was Noxxi's house, and it was unexpected and alarming. Yeah, dude, it was nuts. Absolutely nuts.